So they may have been held to a draw, but now it's time to talk about losers. And this weekend's losers, to be precise, as we offer up our first Loserpool picks of the season. So chaps, I'll explain the rules off the show. I want your guaranteed banker losers for this week and why. So Anthony, I'll start with you first.
A guaranteed loser, I would say Newcastle. I don't see how they're going to get anything away at Manchester City. That's sort of the obvious answer, I suppose. It's hard to try and predict a big side to lose this week because they're not playing anyone difficult. The Burnley United game's an interesting one to try and predict, I suppose.
And Carl, what's your banker loser this week?
For me, Dan, I'm going to go with Southampton away at Crystal Palace.
Oh, an interesting choice.
Hughes, for me, is a disaster of a manager, and I can only see him taking Southampton one way this year. It'll take them as far as maybe just after Christmas before they think about maybe getting rid of him. And from what I've seen of them this year, I don't rate their chances under Hughes, to be honest. So for me, I think Palace at home will be too much for them. So I'm going to go with them as my banker loser.
Southampton won in the week in the Carabao Cup, but for you, Carl, do you see him as sort of relegation fodder? I know they stayed up by the skin of their teeth last season. If we sort of assume that Wolves and Fulham are going to stay up, are they going to be one of the teams in serious trouble again?
I think so. I'd be very worried if I was a Southampton fan. As I say, I just don't think Hughes has got what it takes as a manager. He's never done it anywhere he's been. He had a half-decent spell at Blackburn and Wales for a little while. But after that, he's just been a car crash wherever he's been. And yeah, I'd be very worried if I was a Southampton fan this year, especially after seeing what happened at Stoke under Hughes. They haven't got the squad that can get them out of a relegation battle. So I'd be very worried then if I was a Southampton fan.
Well, there you go. So start news for Southampton fans. JS has been kind enough to radio in from his scouting trip for his loser banker this week. So what I'll do is I'll keep sort of a running tally and we'll sort of work out who's the best tipster each week. So JS has gone for Cardiff as his loser banker of the week, his Loserpool pick. So you'll get a mention, Cardiff. Congratulations. I mean, if it's 3-0 in a row, that means that JS would lose. Actually, no, sorry, he wouldn't go on, because if a draw is the result, that's no good. You have to have a loser. So he's pinning his hopes on Cardiff. I'm going to go a bit of a curveball. I'm going to go with Wolves at West Ham, because I think West Ham have finally got off the mark. I know it was the Carabao Cup, and I know perhaps they had to work for that, but I think just getting that monkey off their back might just be the win that they need to then get them propelled in the Premier League, because they're rock bottom at the moment. They can't get much worse. I think home advantage, if the home fans actually stay in the ground for more than 75 minutes, they may have a chance. So we've gone with, Anthony's gone with Newcastle, Carl's gone with Southampton, I've gone with Wolves, and JS has gone with Cardiff. So they're the 4 Loserpool picks for this week. I'll see next week who's right, and we'll discuss this time next week our picks for, actually there's an international break, isn't there? So maybe in 2 weeks' time we'll do our picks, but we'll certainly be doing this across the course of the season, and it'll be very interesting to see who's the biggest loser, I guess.